and then the guys can see how inept I am. Okay. Well, I can't quite figure this out. I might yet, but let's go ahead and start.
Okay.
So, just kind of wanted to know a little bit about you, your background, that kind of thing.
Sure. Just want me to start explaining who I am then, or do you have specific questions that you were going to work off of? Or
go ahead and just start with that, and then I might have some things to add in there.
Sure. My name's Joe Stamm, and I'm from Central Illinois. I was born and raised around Metivier, and got into music in college and worked several jobs until a few years ago in September of, I guess it was 2016, I quit my job and have been a full-time musician ever since. Called the Joe Stamm Band is, I guess, what we call ourselves. Hopefully they can edit that in such a way that sound a little bit more smooth than that. But we're a country rock group. I do solo stuff as well as work with the band, and yeah, I've released several records, continue to do so, with another one coming out towards the end of September. Normally we would play about 150 shows a year throughout the Midwest. Of course, for the time being, that is on hold.
Exactly. So you've been together since 2016, but actually, how long have you been performing? I mean, what were your roots, so to speak?
Yeah, and the band has actually been, well, quote unquote, together in its various forms. You know, people come and go in bands often, and that's been the case for us as well. But the band has been around since 2013. Mm-hmm. I started performing shortly after college, which probably would have been in 2007. I probably played my first show live. So it's been about 13 years that I've been performing, and you know, in bars and clubs and anywhere that would have me.
How did you get your start just into playing or singing or any of that? What were your earliest roots?
Yeah, unlike most people, or many people who, you know, been around, involved in music for their entire lives, I really didn't pick up on it until I was a senior in college. I had one semester to go, and I had to take some kind of fine arts course in order to graduate. So I took intro to guitar, and then I started pretty much writing songs right away. And you know, I'd been an athlete growing up, and of course, after college, that was all over. So it kind of became a different outlet for me to pour my energies and my focus into. And you know, I don't even think really until the weeks leading up to that moment when I quit my job back in 2016, I ever saw it as being a career. But it just, you know, over many years, it kind of started taking it more and more seriously, and it eventually evolved into that.
Great. Pre-pandemic, what was your life as a musician like? Because I think this is going to be a new defining, don't you?
Sure, absolutely.
Pandemic, post-pandemic.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of like AD and BC. This will be
exactly
BP and AP. It was my life was really hectic because, like I said, we played about 150 shows a year. So much of my week is spent on the road, typically, you know, 2, 3, 4 days. And then trying to, you know, I'm an independent musician. So, you know, that's the kind of thing where we still, you know, maintain our own website and, you know, ship our own merchandise and maintain the online store and maintain our social media presence. So it's kind of like you spend a few days of the week just cramming all your office work into those days when you're at home, trying to catch a breather if you're lucky, and then going back out on the road for 2 or 3 or 4 days, playing shows. And that's kind of my life. So in many respects, at least, especially starting off when the shelter in place started taking effect, it was almost I don't know if I want to say a relief, but there were definitely some positives to it, in terms, man, we can catch up on not only the professional side of things, but, you know, this this whole like normal life thing as well.
Right.
Like get the closet cleaned out and paint a wall or two.
Mm-hmm. So how are you dealing with this as we've gone into day, I don't know, 5 million of the shelter in place, it feels like?
You know it. We're still just kind of, I don't know, day by day, week by week, and just kind of living life. Try to find, from day one, I really didn't want to take any more of a step back in our trajectory than we had to. So we've still been working. I still work most days. And I think the difference is now, whereas if I get, 3 to 4 hours in the office, getting some stuff done, or I'm content. Whereas I used to have to kind of, be a lot more diligent about that stuff. But we still we recorded a song and released it over the course of this time. But instead of going to a big studio, I just went over to my guitar players and we did it ourselves in his basement. We launched a crowdfund campaign in order to help us with the remaining costs of an album that we were already planning to release and pretty much had done and we're ready to release in September. And that was a huge success. We're staying engaged with our fans on social media and on our email newsletter, and doing some live streams here and there.
I was going to ask if you were performing online. Yes.
Yeah, I was a little late to that whole thing, just because I felt like, for one, man, we're getting an opportunity to take a little break here, and for my own sake of mental health, I thought, it's a good time to step back for at least a couple weeks. And so I wasn't really one of the initial, where it seemed like kind of everybody and anybody who ever picked up a guitar almost was doing it. But after 2 or 3 weeks, I kind of missed our fans and our supporters and our friends, and that became a way to kind of re-engage with them. So we've done maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. The other thing I didn't want to do is I wanted to take it as an opportunity to learn how to live stream well. And that has been a really big challenge, especially if you live out in the middle of nowhere, which I do, and have very outdated, old, cheap computers, which I do. So, so we've been kind of trying to figure that out and get better at it. I think we got to the point where we realized we really just need to update our technology if we're going to step it up too much. But like this Saturday, we just announced that we're going to do a live stream over at the Castle Theater in Bloomington, because they're set up with the full production and full video and all that stuff. And that's a full band. So that'll be neat. So I haven't been one of those people that's turning on the live stream every other day, but I have been kind of dipping my toe in the water here and there.
Right. How has your fan support been for you during the time of shelter in place?
Yeah, it's been remarkable. Nothing short of remarkable. And I think that's where I felt like the time was right to do this crowdfund campaign for the next album, because it was never something I wanted to do. I was planning on paying for all that stuff myself, because we still had like mastering to do. We had all the manufacturing to do, which is really expensive, especially with vinyl records. And I planned to just pay that with my income throughout the summer. That income disappeared though, of course.
Right.
And so but I think people and fans have a sense of the situation. And, even from day one, the online merchandise orders went way up, and have been maintaining consistently. And as well as just, tips and donations via the live streams. And then the big, I think, expression of support was our crowdfund, which we had a nice but an ambitious goal, and we've almost tripled that goal so far. So
wow, that's fantastic.
It really has been fantastic. So it's been very validating, I think, is the main because life, like playing shows on the road and stuff, you have your shows that are packed, you have your shows where you're in some town you've never been before and 10 people are there, and sometimes you can those kind get strung together, and you can get it can really grind you up. So it's been this period has been a period where what we're doing has been validated in some pretty powerful in concrete ways.
Were you surprised that you had that much support?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I knew, I thought we had a good chance of hitting our goal. But I thought it was going to take some, some effort and a lot of reminders and maybe a big donation or two. But we had our goal within 9 hours, on the day.
Wow.
It was set up to go on for, about 5 weeks, and we had our goal within 9 hours. So, and we've still got it up, and people are still, buying stuff, because it wasn't just donation based. It was, lots of incentives with like pre-ordering limited edition copies and custom experiences. Like, I just finished and shipped off a song that I wrote, for somebody. They told me their story, and that, that was a package item that you could do, and different things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's still going, and the numbers are still climbing. So it's been nothing short of remarkable. I never would have dreamed that we've reached the numbers and the amount of support that we've ended up with.
That's great. Do you have any advice for other musicians trying to navigate these trying times?
Yeah, it's a great time to dig into something you don't know how to do well. It's a great time to get educated. There's all kinds of resources, both free and otherwise, online, where you can. A company that I go to a lot is called Indiepreneur. Indie is an independent musician, and Preneur is an entrepreneur. Indiepreneur.io, and they offer a lot of courses, marketing courses, courses on building an email newsletter, or that way, courses on Spotify, all these kind of things. So the main thing for me, when this hit, was I said, I'm not going to take steps back. And because for me, it was like, I'm still going to go to work every day, and I'm still going to remain tapped in. And I think that's the key. And the other thing is, just don't be afraid to ask for help, and find ways to incentivize that help. It's not a matter of going online and saying, I need money, send me money. It's a matter of figuring out what kind of value you can offer people who might want to support you, and create incentives for them to support you and opportunities for them to support you, because that support is out there.
That's great advice. What do you wish someone would have told you
going into this?
Yes.
I wish somebody would have told me a year ago that you really need to figure out how to live stream well. I think that's because I always hated doing live streams, and I can't tell you why. I could go up in front of, and have gone in front of, crowds of thousands of people without butterflies, and played on stage that way. But there's something about being in a room by myself, looking at my phone with nobody here, that stresses me out. So it wasn't something I was well versed in at all. And so in a way, I've kind of been behind the curve on that. And I think I wish, like I said, a year ago, somebody would have said, hey, figure out this live stream thing, because it's going to become important. Because I think it's going to stay important, even after all this is over, and even after we're doing, at physical venues. I think live stream is going to be a part of our toolbox for a long time.
Well, that's actually my next question is, what do you think post-pandemic life for musicians will actually be like? Which you're saying you think you're still going to need the live streaming.
I think even if you don't need it, I think it's an incredible tool for hop on a line. If you got a show coming up, in a certain, if you got a big show coming up, you can pop online and play a song and talk about it. Or if you have an open date, there are times where we like to stay booked, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Thursday, every single week, but that doesn't always happen, So what a great resource if you got an open Friday and open Saturday, to go online and say, hey, send me some song requests, and send me some tips if you want, or even when you're busy, if you want to do it on a Tuesday or Wednesday or an off night or whatever, because the thing is, when you're you can only be in one place in one time when you're physically touring. But we have fans in New Zealand and France and the Netherlands and Scotland that we hear from a lot online, but we're not getting over to Europe anytime soon, and weren't even before this. So it's a great opportunity for people and fans from all over the country and all over the world to be able to engage with you and your music. And I think I think that's why live streaming is going to remain important. As far as what life is going to be like after this, I don't know. I mean, I would hope, and I remain hopeful that it will be as close to how it was, before this all hit, because my band and our music was, and continues to our imprint and continues to increase. So, I would hope it'll go back to as close to normal as possible. That remains to be seen, I guess.
I'm with you on that one for sure. How do you think
it will?
Oh, good. Then I'm going to go with you because I'm an optimist. What do you think it's going to be like for the fans post-pandemic? Do you think it'll be different for them?
I think initially, but then again, we've heard about these bars that in neighboring states or even in our own here in Illinois who have defied orders and opened, at least temporarily, until they got their cease and desists. And it's been a matter, and they've been packed. It's been a matter of being overrun with people who are anxious to get back to life as normal. Now, regardless of what you think about that, I think it is at least telling that desire for normalcy will return. And I think eventually, I think life as we would normally live it will return. Will we shake as many hands and hug as many people? I don't know how that'll change our social mores, but this isn't the first time the world has experienced a pandemic, and it's the first time it's happened with this much technology and this much knowledge and exposure to what's going on and what it's causing, and etc.
Right.
And this much false knowledge and this much inability to determine between what's true and what's not. But nonetheless, I would think that there's enough hope in humanity's ability to adapt and grow and learn and find a sense of normalcy. And I think that should certainly apply to music and live music as much as it should apply to anything else.
Right.
I hope so.
Yeah. Do you see music as being a vehicle for change?
I think it always has been. I don't know if my music is a vehicle for change. I think some people really enjoy using it as a platform to speak out against things. I just like to tell stories, and I think every one of my stories and my songs has something to say. I've never approached a song and said, this is something I need to say. I'm going to write this song in order to say, it's always just been more of finding stories to develop and kind of communicate my personality and my beliefs and my thoughts through that. To the extent that music in general is a vehicle for change, I think it certainly can be. It's all a matter of how you want to use it as an artist and how you want to receive it as a listener.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty profound there and deep. Can we lighten it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a funny memory of any particular show or practice or anything that you could share with me?
Funny memory of any particular show or practice. Putting me on the spot with that one.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's your prerogative as an interviewer. Man, because the thing is, of course, like there are hundreds,
Right.
Many of which I can't really probably tell.
This is a PG audience.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm trying to think about of a good one that I could tell. I'm not sure if I have a good answer for that right now.
Well,
Now,
that's all right.
as soon as we hang up, what's going to happen? Ellen, is
Of course. Well, then you can just tell me in person next time.
Sure.
I did want to tell you though that we saw you perform at the Backroad Music Festival.
Oh, last year?
Side stage, yes.
Yeah,
and my husband actually thought that side stage was better than the main stage. So.
Well, that's awesome. I don't know if that was
down.
all me. Craig Gertis' show was awesome after ours as well. That was a really fun night.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. What gives you hope for your future? That's pretty deep too. I'm taking it back down.
No, that's not taking it down at all. I think what gives me hope, I mean, and this dovetails right along with what we were talking about earlier. I think what gives me hope is that people seem to be, receiving the songs that I'm writing. You know, we're putting out a lot of music. I put out a full 15-track record in February, and then I just released a single 2 weeks ago, and then we've got a full 11-song album coming out in September, and then we've got another record we're going to start recording in June for next year. So, but I think what drives me to be able to continue to not only write in general, but make those investments to be able to release them is that the amount of support we're getting, and never seen more clearly than like we were talking about earlier with the crowdfund campaign that we're in the middle of right now, and that has just been blowing our goals out of the water. So that in and of itself, and it could be just summed up by the amount of support that our friends and our fans are giving us, not only through this, but just in general with our music, the way they're ingesting it, the way they're telling others about it, and the way that they're using their money to support it.
Yeah, sounds like the future is pretty bright, so that's pretty awesome.
Hope so. I hope so. You know, when I was quitting my job, I had to explain that, to my dad and, close personal friends and family. And the thing I always said was, it's something I want to do, and anything I've ever done before, I've eventually, one way or the other, figured out a way to land on my feet. And that's kind of the attitude that I'm taking towards this situation now, and will continue to do so in the future.
Well, that's great. Where can people find out more about you?
Good question. The best place and most concise place is at joestammband.com, our website, and you can just Google search Joe Stamm or Joe Stamm Band, and you'll find our website. That's where you can get my bio and our background. You can watch a news story about our background. You can get all our music, watch all our videos, music videos, check out our merch store, and then all kinds of different stuff that we do there. But and then you can sign up for the newsletter, which is also, you won't miss anything if you sign up for the newsletter. I just typed one today. I typed them all myself, and some are about new products, about new shows. Some I might just sit down and have a thought for the day. So, and then of course all your social medias. You can search Joe Stamm or Joe Stamm Band on all social medias. And music and streaming platforms as well. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff.
Excellent. All right. Well, do you have anything you want to add for me, Joe?
I think we pretty much covered it all. I think my answers are probably too long. They'll probably have to do a lot of chopping, but that's okay.
and that's absolutely fine. And I'm probably pretty awkward too, so sorry.
No, not at all.
And then we'll have Jason cut this off here. So,
okay.
But I'm going to say I'm really excited to meet you because I've seen you before, but not got to meet you. So I'll be there at the Commons when you're there.
Great.
So yeah.
Great. And so, do you know when they'll be sending me the information on that?
Well, they were supposed to announce at 4:00, and
okay.
They had technical difficulties, so they still haven't made the official announcement. But it will be soon. And if nothing else, I think I can text you your time slot, so
okay, cool.
I can do that for you. And I'm going to send you a picture of me because it's so rotten that I did this and could not figure out how to turn my camera on. So unfair.
I understand. I've been on that side before.
All right. Well, it's been great talking to you. So,
yeah, you too. Look forward to meeting you, Carl.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Oh, shoot, I'm not getting this.